Ethan Thorne was a meticulous clerk at the city's largest investment firm. His vocation was not glamorous, but it was a solid occupation, providing a reliable salary that formed the bulk of his modest income. He prided himself on his ability to manage complex spreadsheets and to regulate the flow of documents, a testament to his detail-oriented nature, bordering on being a workaholic. Every month, he would carefully allocate a portion of his wage to a fixed-term deposit, a practice he viewed as an incentive for future stability. One dreary Monday, Ethan was tasked with auditing the estate of a recently deceased, eccentric millionaire. Tucked away in a decaying velvet box, among countless deeds and titles, he found a single, tarnished copper shilling. It felt oddly heavy, almost like a piece of buried treasure. Attached was a brittle parchment detailing a cryptic legacy. It stated that this coin, the last remnant of a forgotten family wealth, would descend only to someone worthy enough to understand its true value. Ethan, a man who dealt in millions, found the single coin laughable. Yet something about the inscription compelled him. The document also mentioned a final payment of an outstanding debt, which would only be processed upon the presentation of a specific check and a series of installment receipts that were nowhere to be found. This was a significant failure in the closing of the estate, and Ethan knew that if he couldn't solve it, he might face dismissal. This seemingly insignificant shilling had suddenly presented an unforeseen professional undertaking. Ethan decided to fully possess the challenge. His initial resume had painted him as a safe, predictable choice, but this mystery demanded boldness. He took a chance, using a vacation day to begin his own private investigation. His senior manager, wary of an impending audit, wanted to accelerate the process. "I need a prompt resolution, Thorne," the manager had barked. "I don't want an abortion of this closing." The first clue was a coded message on the back of the coin, referring to a long-defunct artisanal guild. Ethan needed to become a temporary archivist. He knew he was taking a risk, potentially leading to a layoff if he couldn't deliver the result. But the sheer intellectual challenge was a more potent incentive than any bonus. He found an old library catalog that listed the check and installment records, not as financial instruments, but as volumes of historical texts. The final payment was not a transfer of money, but a piece of knowledge, a historical reimbursement of a forgotten honor. The shilling was merely the key, the possessive mark of the original owner. This discovery was far more valuable than any sum of money. The whole story of the legacy began to unfold. It was about an ancient promise, a dedication to a shared vocation of preserving history. Ethan had to choose between his stable profession as a clerk and the exhilarating life of an historical detective. He found himself drawn to the latter. His old job, while offering a reliable wage and a substantial salary, suddenly felt stagnant. He realized that true wealth was not the size of his bank deposit, but the richness of his purpose. He used his newfound knowledge to successfully close the estate. His manager, impressed by the unconventional result, gave him a hearty recommend and even offered a subsidy for his research costs. Ethan respectfully declined the refund for his time, stating the intellectual reward was enough remuneration. Instead of returning to his desk, Ethan decided to resign. He put his skills to better use, creating a non-profit organization dedicated to finding and restoring historical artifacts. He used the original copper shilling, the physical reminder of the legacy, as the organization's emblem. He started the organization with a small but dedicated workforce of historians, researchers, and former archivists. He had to employ and hire personnel quickly, conducting back-to-back interview sessions to find the right team. His new venture was a true undertaking, focused on sustainable preservation rather than quick profit. He no longer worried about his monthly income because he was truly happy. The professional opportunity presented by a single coin had allowed him to earn a fulfilling life. When a local journalist asked him why he made the drastic career change, Ethan simply stated, "I was discharged from my old life by a single piece of treasure. I had a chance to redefine my labor." Ethan's career became his greatest result. He had been a workaholic seeking a title. Now, he was a dedicated professional pursuing a passion. The payroll for his new personnel was modest, but the job satisfaction was immense. He had not only secured a $1 million estate, but had also discovered his own worthy and valuable calling, proving the old legacy's inscription true. He was, finally, in possession of a truly meaningful life. Ethan Thorne, the former clerk, no longer chased his salary or worried about his next installment. He was a man who understood that the real wealth was the power to improve the world around him. He had found his profession, his true vocation, and the tiny, tarnished copper shilling now sat proudly on his desk, a constant reminder that even the smallest coin can be a valuable key to a magnificent legacy. The story of Ethan's transition from auditing to archiving became an incentive for others to seek meaningful labor. He successfully managed to accelerate the restoration of several historical sites, proving that a prompt and decisive action could turn a professional failure into a monumental opportunity. He often said that the only thing he would never refund was the time he spent pursuing the truth. That was his greatest income. He had taken a chance and made the right choose. He had been a man of paperwork, but the legacy had shown him the true meaning of treasure. He had finally found his worthy undertaking.